May it please the court, my lady. Morning.
Morning, my lady.
Good morning, my lady.
Morning.
Good morning, my lady.
Nelly Siwe, are you ready to place the matter on record?
My lady. Morning, yes, Judge.
Continue, please.
Today is the 14th of June, 2022. Calling the matter of Life Esidimeni Inquest, case number I-001 of 2021. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Noyile.
Good morning, my lady.
Yes, you are reminded that you are still under oath.
Yes, my lady.
Cross-examination, the team of Mr. Watt Sprinkle, I saw he's present.
Good morning again, my lady. My lady, we have no cross-examination for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you. The team of Mr. Wooders.
Morning, my lady.
Morning, Mr. Peterson.
My lady, I just have a few aspects I'd like to deal with regarding our client with the witness. It's regarding the meeting that you had or the visit of the former MEC to Siabadinga.
Yes, you may proceed.
Thank you, my lady. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, counsel. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm from part of it. Okay.
I think you are
I'd
having
like to refer
problems,
you
Mr.
to
Peterson.
page.
Can somebody alert him? Okay. I think there are some problems. We can't hear you.
Sorry, my lady.
Yes, something is not
Sorry, my lady.
wrong. If you can just check your connection, please.
Okay, my lady. Let me log out and try and relog in.
Okay, please do so.
Thank you, my lady. Am I audible?
Just continue, I'll tell you.
Thank you, my lady. Mrs. Noile, I'd like to refer you to page 23593. 23593.
2353. Come again?
23593, my lady.
23593.
That's correct. That's in respect of the arbitration. You can let me know when you are there.
I am there, counsel.
Could you just familiarize yourself with that page, please?
Okay, counsel.
You'll tell me when you're done.
I am done, counsel.
Thank you. That is your evidence at the arbitration. Is it correct that the former MEC was called there to mediate between the two NGOs that were operating at CCRC, which was Esidimeni and Anchor House or Anchor Life?
Yes, this is how I understood it, counsel.
And is it correct that she approved the operations and instructed Dr. Manamela to get you 2 big stoves and industrial washing machines?
It is true, counsel.
Thank you. Can you turn to page 23553 for me, please?
Okay, counsel.
Page?
23553. Now, I will just read it out quickly to you. I'm going to refer to this page and the following page. And I just want to get your understanding of what happened regarding your evidence. So at 23553, the advocate asks you, was there a reason why there was no license issued for Esidimeni? That's from the top of the page. And your answer was, when Esidimeni was receiving patients, we were having.
Yes, we're going to have problems if you can stop him.
That there was.
Mr. Peterson, I'm going
Yes,
to
my
ask
lady.
you to stop again. You are not going to be audible on record, please.
Sorry, my lady, I don't know what is going on with our connection. Am I audible? I'll try and go slower.
Just continue. I'm going to stop you if I'm not hearing you or if I realize that you've got problems.
As it pleases the court, my lady.
Yes, continue.
Mrs. Noelia, I was still reading to you your evidence where you say
Yes.
that Hannah Jacobus, and she had promised that they were busy with our staff and they were going to issue the license. You were then asked, who is Hannah Jacobus? And you say she is, I'm not sure, but I think she is a director of mental health in Tshwane. And the evidence continues. So where was this meeting? And you respond at the meeting, she came to the center itself. And it's asked at Esidimeni, you say, yes, counsel. You asked when was this? And you say the first time she came on the 13th, we received patients because we received the first batch of patients. No, it was on the 8th of May. I'm sorry, because we received the patients on the 9th of May when she came. You then asked, so you received the patients on the 9th, you didn't have the license. You respond and you say, we do not have a license, madam. The following page you were asked, yes, so she said she was going to deliver the license for Life Disciples International. You respond by saying yes. You then asked, and she said you can use that license, but you are under Life, but were you under Life Disciples? You respond and say she delivered the license because she said they were still fixing it. The reason the license was delivered on that day, it was because the seniors of the provincial mental health were coming. It was said that the DDG and the MEC was coming. When she delivered the license, she took it and she put it at the back of my door, my office door, and the reason she and I asked, why is she delivering the license that has another name? She said the DGG and the MEC are coming. They will not see that it's written Life Disciples. They will just see if there is a license. So that is how it was delivered to us. You're then asked, so are you saying that Hannah Jacobus went and issued a license on another organization and gave it to you and allowed you to operate using that to mislead the MEC and the government officials? You respond and you say, yes, that's what I'm saying. And then your evidence continues after that. So I want to ask you this, Mrs. Noile. Hannah Jacobus, with the assistance, misled the former MEC to believe that Esidimeni had a license and was compliant with the requirements for such a license. Is that correct?
Just you are saying with her assistance, is that what you're saying?
Yes, my lady.
Okay.
My response is
My
that
lady,
it was,
Just a second. Yes, Mr. Before the witness response.
Already, firstly, there's a question of relevance, and secondly, this is not what is contained in that transcript. If the learned counsel wants to argue that fact, he can argue it at the end.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, my lady. I'm putting her version to her, my lady, and I want to comment.
Yes,
If
but
my lady deems it
can the witness
irrelevant,
step aside, please? Yes, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, my lady. My lady, I'm putting her version to her that's in the arbitration, my lady. I don't see any difficulty with the witness answering that question. And if my lady feels that the question I've put to her or the version I've put to her is irrelevant, then I'm willing to accept that, my lady. But I don't see any irrelevancy with that question.
But before we go to that, the issue of relevance, there is this thing that you put to the witness, the version that you say with her assistance. Where do you get that from? If you can,
Well,
if you can assist us.
Well, my lady, in the evidence, my lady, she says that a license was delivered to her office. And it was sent from the witness, my lady. What did she do from that? Did she just keep quiet about it and continue that the license belonged to Siabadinga when we know it belonged to Life Disciples? So I'm putting a version to that the former MEC will come and testify that the witness together with Hannah Jacobus misled her. That's the version I'm going to put to her.
Yes, but you must lay the basis for it, because that is not what is contained in the statement to say that that was through her assistance. Perhaps you should put it differently. It's not what is contained there. Maybe it's something that you want to argue at the end, but you must put proper facts to her, right?
Yes, my lady. My lady, it is contained in the paragraphs that I read to my lady. If my lady, I can continue reading her evidence.
Yes, you can do that. But yes, let's hear that, because if you can show me that portion, because what you read doesn't say with her assistance. To say that she took the license, does it mean that she also played a role in that? If you want to argue it, you can. If you want
yes,
to,
my lady. I think it will be argued that, my lady, because according to the evidence, the advocate put to her, and that's at line 14, my lady, on the page I referred you to, 23554.
Which page again?
23554, my lady.
Yes, line 14.
Yes, from line 14 on, the advocate says, so you are saying that Hannah Jacobus went and issued a license on another organization and gave it to you and allowed you to operate using that and to mislead the MEC and the government officials. Her answer was, that is what I'm saying, counsel.
Yes,
and
but
then it
it's
goes
something
on.
that you can put to the witness differently, not to say that this was through her assistance. Maybe that can come after you shall have heard her responses, isn't it?
That's correct, my lady.
Yes, as regards the issue of relevance, perhaps you want to put the version, maybe just let me just leave it. You can continue. Can the witness come back? Yes.
Ms. Noile, the former MEC will testify that you and Hannah Jacobus misled her to believe that Siadinga had a license which was compliant with the requirements of such license. Can you comment on that?
My comment on that is that the license was not given to me. The license was put at the door of the office. I did not, on the day, I did not even realize or know that there was a license. And the former MEC, when she came to the organization, she came to Siabadinga and to Anchor House. Excuse me.
Thank you, my lady. I have no further questions for this witness.
Come again?
So thank you, my lady. I don't have any further questions for this witness.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you very much. Then we go to Mr. Piner. Do you have questions, Mr. Piner?
May it please the court, my lady. At this stage, I'd seek then indulgence, my lady, to reserve my cross-examination until a later stage, if necessary, my lady.
Thank you.
May it please the court, my lady.
Mr. van Bergen?
Thank you, my lady. I do not have any questions at this stage, but should the need arise, I will approach your ladyship for leave to cross-examine at a later stage.
Thank you. Ms. Asim?
Thank you, my lady. I just have one or two questions for the witness.
Yes, proceed.
Good morning, Mrs. Naile.
Good morning, counsel.
I represent some of the families of the deceased in this inquest. Mrs. Naile, I just wanted to ask you one or two questions. Do you recall your testimony? You recall testifying before Justice Moseneke in the arbitration?
I do, counsel.
And your testimony was under oath, correct?
Yes, it was, counsel.
And do you stand by your testimony in the arbitration?
Yes, I do, counsel.
Thank you, my lady. I have no further questions.
Next will be Ms. Munjerere. Is she there?
As it pleases the Honorable Court, my lady, at this stage, I don't have any question for the witness. However, I would like to reserve my right to cross-examine after Advocate Shabangu has cross-examined the witness, my lady.
Thank you. Ms. Foster, I see you are ready.
As it was please, my lady. Good morning,
Yes.
ma'am.
Good
My
morning, counsel.
My name is Phyllis Foster, and I appear on behalf of 4 of the deceased family members, and all 4 of those deceased was patients at Siabadinga. You have testified about them, and it seems as if you had knowledge about these 4 patients. I appear on behalf of the family of Jabulani Mshlungu, of Tabu Munyane, David Mpofu, and Jaco Stolz. Do you confirm?
Just before you, I'm going to interrupt you. I saw there was a hand, Mr. Pichela.
My lady, just to indicate that we had agreed that before cross-examination can commence, the cross-examiner will give a basis as to the questions that they want to pose. I see that it's not being followed, and just bringing it to the attention of the court.
With regard to, I don't know, I didn't notice that from who, because I think Ms. Foster is still going to do it. She was still introducing herself to the witness.
No, my lady, I was talking in terms of addressing the court to say that traditional introduction to say questions I'm going to pose to the witness would be about this and this and that kind of thing.
But I thought I was checking, and I don't know. Okay, continue, Ms. Foster.
As the court pleases, my lady, may I then proceed?
Yes, you can just lay the basis so that we should know.
Ms. Noyele, my questions will relate regarding the circumstances of the 4 patients that was in your care, in which state they were when you received them, what was the care that they've received. It will be regarding the medicine aspect of Mr. Mshlungu, and then I will also ask you regarding the letter that you've received about the Gauteng, from the Gauteng province regarding your eviction. And then the conversations you had with Sandra de Villiers, the sister of Jaco Stolz.
Okay, continue.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. Hille, can you just confirm for me, what was your occupation, what were you doing before you became the CEO of Siabadinga?
I was the manager and project manager and the founder of an NPO called Siatemba Nogeng Community Center, which deals with HTS, which
What is that?
which is HIV, testing and counseling. But before that, it was dealing with home-based care patients, where we went into homes to bathe, to feed, check if the patients have medication, and fetch medication from the clinic and do the dot support, which is direct observation of treatment. That was what I was doing, and I am still doing the HTS to this point, counsel.
If I understand your statement correctly, on page 494, Siabadinga was an NGO, but it was registered in Ingangala. So do I understand you correctly that Siabadinga, based at CCRC, would have been like a substitute or a sub-office of the Ingangala Siabadinga facility? So it falls under the Nkangala, Siabadinga manager. So it would have been like a sub-NGO based at CCRC. Is that correct?
I don't know if I understand you correctly, counsel, but I'll try and answer your question. An NPO, when is registered either provincially or nationally. So Siabadinga was registered provincially, so which means Siabadinga could be able to work anywhere in Gauteng.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered you.
Right. So it was a new office or a new institution that was created at CCRC under the provincial office.
Yes,
Thank you
indeed.
very much. If I understand your evidence correctly, during the arbitration award, you were never present when there was no service level agreement signed between Siabadinga, you as the CEO, and Department of Health. Is that correct?
It is correct, counsel.
The financial arrangements also, you only could rely on the SASSA grants of about 18 patients or 16 patients that you've received their SASSA cards. Further than that, you did not receive any funding either from the Department of Health or
correct,
counsel.
Correct, counsel.
And then please tell the court, why was it necessary for Solidarity and Help in the Hunt? Why did they become involved?
The Helping Hand came involved because when we started the Siabadinga, we called all the parents or families of the patients who could be available or who were like active in their families' lives. So in the meetings when we were discussing the challenges and what we were facing, they had some of the parents had some connections or had some relationships with Solidarity Fund. That is how it came about.
Would Siabadinga have been able or in a position to survive or feed the patients or go on existing if it was not for the funding and the donations received from Solidarity and Help in the Hunt?
It will be a challenge to do so. As I testified yesterday, some of the parents before Solidarity Fund come, some of the parents were already started to donate, but it would have been a challenge if they did not come.
The patients, the mental health care users that you receive, they come from CCRC, which was a state institution. So would I be correct to say that the Department of Health remained the guardian of the patients that was transferred to Siabadinga?
Yes.
On the 20th of June, you testified that there was a meeting with Mr. Esidimeni. Is that Dr. Esidimeni? Is that correct?
Indeed, counsel.
During that meeting, would you say that Dr. Esidimeni was aware of the challenges and what was the patients that was admitted at Siabadinga and the circumstances of Siabadinga at that stage?
Yes, just
My lady, is this witness being asked to speculate? That's not evidence. If she wants to ask a specific question which elicits a fact, that's one thing, but she's being asked to speculate right now.
Ms. Foster?
My lady, my follow-up question would be, we'll ask the witness on why she said that, but if Mr. Pringle would just give me a moment, then I can continue with my questioning. There was
Perhaps my learned friend could do it the other way around, get the fact and then the conclusion, rather than the conclusion and the fact.
Okay.
I will do that. During the meeting on the 20th of June 2016, what was your impression regarding the fact that Dr. Silabanu said or gave an instruction that you must work with Anchor House and share the one kitchen? That was what the meeting was about. So what would you say was Dr. Silabanu's involvement during that meeting?
What I got from the meeting was that Dr. Silibano was aware of Siabadinga being there, and he even spoke about, in fact, instructed that Dr. Manamela and Ms. Hannah Jacobus must speed up the process of NPOs being paid and everything be put in place.
So was it your perception that he was aware of what was going on at CCRC and Siabadinga and Anchor House? What regarding circumstances during this meeting?
Yes, my perception was that he knew.
On page 495 of your statement.
Just a second, Miss. Page
495, my lady.
My lady, may I just place the following on record? I understand that the counsel in cross-examination is entitled to put leading questions, but the fact of the matter is that this witness is not here she's not having leading questions put to her against self-interest. She's having leading questions put to her potentially against the interest of a third party. My learned friend must understand that the answer carries much less weight when it's my learned friend giving the evidence and seeking confirmation rather than eliciting the evidence from the witness.
But you should stop her if she's asking leading questions before the witness responds, please.
Yes, my lady. What I'm saying is my learned friend may be within her rights, but she needs to appreciate that the weight of the answer is much less. So I'm placing that on record. Thank you.
Perhaps I don't follow. If you can just let me understand you.
Yes, my lady, even if in theory it's permissible for my learned friend as cross-examining counsel to put leading questions, in the circumstances of this question, it is, I think, debatable whether she's entitled to do so. But even if she is entitled to do so, your ladyship would attach less weight to the answer to a leading question because of the very fact that it is leading. If my learned friend elicits evidence from the witness in the proper fashion, then your ladyship will attach greater weight to it because then it's the witness's evidence, not simply confirming. The point about it being that if my learned friend wants to put leading questions to the witness which are against the witness's interest, that's one thing. But she's putting leading questions in relation to third parties, namely Dr. Silabano. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we proceed, Ms. Foster, or do you want to respond?
No, I'm definitely not going to respond because the evidence on record is, I don't know how it can be ever regarded as a leading question.
Okay.
The evidence already on record. So I will proceed. Thank you, my lady. Ma'am, I want to refer you to page 495, paragraph 4.
Can I go to the page, please?
Thank you, my lady.
Paragraph 4.
Are you there, ma'am?
Oh, yes, I am, counsel.
Thank you. Paragraph is the 11th line from the bottom of your statement.
Can she just read the paragraph again for herself?
As God pleases.
I'm done, counsel.
Thank you. Mr. Yuli, the only question I want to ask you is regarding the sentence, the 11th line from the bottom, that starts with neither Love Disciples nor Siabadenga was vetted before the receipt of patients. Do you see that?
Where is that? You say?
Paragraph 4, my lady.
Yes, I'm there, but I want you to read the paragraph, the line.
The 11th line from the bottom, neither Love Disciples. The sentence starts with neither Love Disciples nor Siabadenga was vetted before the receipt of patients. Okay. I want to know what did the witness mean with was vetted? What did you mean by that?
Oh, I think it was a mistake. It's supposed to mean neither Love Disciples nor Siabadenga was visited before the patient.
Oh, it's
before the receipt. Yes.
And who was supposed to visit them? Who would you expect was supposed to visit the facilities before the patients is received?
I was expecting Miss Jacobus or Dr. Manamela.
But just bear in mind, I don't want to put you in a difficult position. The next line says Dr. Manamela had, however, came to inspect the premise and she did not have any complaints. So take that into account with your answer.
Yes. The reason for the next line, I think maybe it was the way the question was asked when I was doing the statement. Dr. Manamela did come long before the patients came with the committee of the parents. At that time, it was still Life Disciples because it was in January. And at that time, it was just a building with no beds, nothing. It was an inspection of the building after the renovations.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you provide the court with any explanation why was the patients moved from CCRC to Siabadenga? I understand that they had to make space for Life Esidimeni, but have you ever been involved why they had to be removed from CCRC to Siabadenga and why Life Esidimeni patients was not placed with Siabadenga directly?
I would not have that information, ma'am.
On the last line of that same paragraph, you stated that the undertaking from CCRC was that Siabadenga was going to receive stable patients. Do you see that on page 495, the last line, paragraph 4?
I do, counsel.
What must we understand from stable patients?
What was told What Ms. Nyaklu has told me was that the patients who were coming to Siabadinga were just patients that we could take care of them as the people who had knowledge of home-based care. They will be treated like home-based care patients.
Did you receive only stable patients?
I am not a clinician. I cannot really elaborate on that. I was just given information by the people who were working on the wards.
If a patient was bedridden, would he be regarded as a stable patient?
As I said, I'm qualified in home-based care, so we have quite a lot of patients who are bedridden but still stable.
Thank you. Paragraph 5, you testified about a parents' meeting that you've called on the 19th of June. Do you remember that, or do you want to read the paragraph first?
I remember that, counsel.
What was the reason for you to call this parents' meeting? Why did you feel the necessity to do that?
It was after the incident of the 18th, counsel. When I went into the wards and saw that the patients, family members of people were occupying 2 wards and they were squashed together, I felt it was my responsibility to let the family members know, as we had a relationship, so to speak, communicating when we are having challenges. So it felt right for me to call the parents so that they can help me in sorting out what was happening.
And did that meeting have the result that you hoped for? Did the parents become involved, and was the situation changed?
The situation was changed, but the parents came and the parents witnessed what I was telling them about, and I felt it was my responsibility to let them know.
On the next paragraph, I just want to place it again on record. On the next paragraph on page 496, you stated that Dr. Silabano, and I'm reading from line 4.
Which paragraph now? Paragraph 6.
No, 5, my lady, still, but it's on the top of page 496.
Yes.
That the request came from Dr. Silabano that the 2 NGOs must work together for the sake of the patients, and he also told Dr. Manamela that the 2 NGOs should get money in order to be able to take care of the patients. You confirm that?
I do, counsel.
There was only one kitchen for Siabadenga and Anchor House to share to prepare the food. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
And there was promises made that they will get another kitchen for Anchor House. Why Dr. Manamela made these promises? Was there ever 2 kitchens allocated? Did that situation change, or did you remain up until the end to use 1 kitchen?
We remained using 1 kitchen, my counsel.
Paragraph 6 of your statement, still on page 496, you told, or in your statement, you indicated that you went about 2 weeks without medication. What kind of medication was it that you did not have?
I was not dealing with medication. I got report that the medication is finished, so I took initiative to go to CRC to report to Ms. Nyaklu that we have ran out of medication.
And the medication, would it be correct to say that it was prescription medication that you ran out of? It's not vitamins.
Indeed, counsel.
When the doctors came out to complete new prescriptions, did they meet consult with the patients, or how was the prescriptions fixed?
Can you please repeat the question, counsel?
I see you said that the prescriptions that you had was incorrect, that you've received from CCRC, and the doctors, the psychiatrists had to come out and provide new prescriptions for the patients. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, counsel.
Now, did the psychiatrist physically evaluate every single patient, or was the prescriptions just corrected? How did that work?
The psychiatrist came into the center and evaluated each and every patient, counsel.
Thank you very much. Will I be correct to say that you received your first patients on the 9th of May 2016? You received medication for a month from CCRC. So up until the 9th of June 2016, the medication for the patients that you received from CCRC was enough. Will that be a fair assumption, if I understand your evidence correctly?
I received medication for 2 weeks first. And then when the medication was finished, because remember, during that 2 weeks, we were trying to get help from the two clinics that I mentioned yesterday, which is Refilwe Clinic and Rayton Clinic. Now, during that time, that is when we find out that we are not going to get help. Then that is when I got back to Ms. Nyaklu to say we are having this challenge, and she referred me to the Tshwane pharmacy, Ms. Nyaklu and Ms. Jacobus. Then we sent the scripts there. Then we find out that they were wrong. So it was 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks.
So these patients were without medication for at least a month. And Ms. Jana Jacobus, as well as Dr. Manamela, was aware of this fact. Is that correct?
They were aware of the fact.
And it was only on the 1st of July 2016 that this problem regarding the medication has been resolved.
Indeed, counsel.
Ms. Noyili, why was it necessary for the department to take you to court and evict you? What did you do that made them so gross?
I have no idea. What is the relevance, Mr. Pichela?
Yeah, my lady, I was coming in on the question of relevance there because, and speculation as well.
That is the information.
The witness wouldn't know why the department decides to take her to court. I mean, it's for the department to know, and should be embodied in the affidavits, in the founding affidavits, in their application.
Ms. Foster, where are we going with this question?
My lady, my argument will be at the end of the day that Ms. Noyili was a person who really tried her utmost best to care for these patients out of her own pocket. Now she was chased away by the department. She was evicted. She was brought to court. There was an order made against her to hand over keys. The security refused her entry. She could not even take her personal belongings. So I want to know from this witness, as a person who did everything in her power to look after these patients, does she know what the reason was why the department got an eviction order against her?
Yes, but what happened? In any event, she doesn't know. But then where are you getting to? Because at the end of the day, how will she read their mind? We don't know. What was the reason?
She did not. I think there was an interjection before she could answer my question. But if there's any evidence that she has knowledge of that can be assistance to this court in an inquest, I'm sure that she's at liberty to divulge that information. If she doesn't know, that's fine, but it's still a question that I can pose to it to be used in argument later.
I don't see the relevant. Can I hear me? First, it was Mr. Sibara, then Miss Marriott, and then I'll go back to Mr. Kuhlela. Yes, can the witness step aside, please? Miss Noile, please step aside.
My lady, I think the court has summed it up quite correctly. And my learned colleague has already responded.
Just a second. Okay, thank you. The witness is now.
Thank you, my lady. And my learned colleague has already responded, my lady, that I am going to argue. I think this one can be left for argument, my lady, because it would be very difficult for the witness to presume what was in the mind of a department. And the relevance of the court order, my lady, with regard to the determination of causation, it's a bit foreign. As it please the court, my lady.
Thank you, Ms. Marriott.
Thank you, my lady. I also just wanted to add that it will not assist the court pertaining to the causality of the death of the deceased.
Thank you. And then Mr. Pichela, you wanted to say something and then we take it back to Ms. Foster.
No, my lady, I have nothing further to add.
Yes, Ms. Foster, I think this is an issue for argument. You have made your point. If we can pass it. Thank you.
Thank you, my lady. I cannot argue it if I did not put it to the witness. So that's the only reason I put it to the witness. Regarding causation, I don't know why. At the end of the day, the court would have to make a finding on the degree of negligence, the possibility that you could have foreseen the possibility that somebody could die because of your actions, and that relates to your actions, to withhold medication.
Yes, but if you are going to, okay, fine. If you want to take that route, those questions, won't they be put to the people involved, especially Dr. Manamela and Ms. Ketani Mahlangu when they come to testify?
That might be so, my lady, but
because in this instance, we're having this witness who was just running this organization. Her evidence is that we were evicted. Full stop. So I don't know what is it that you want to extract from her.
Yeah, but if Dr. Manamela said it was because she stole from the company or she stole medicine,
that's something else.
Exactly.
What we have, you will deal with the evidence that is on record, which we have, which says we were told that our license was illegal or we didn't have the license. That is the reason why they were evicted, isn't it?
Yes. I will move on.
All right. Can the witness come back? Yes, continue.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. Healy, it would be correct to say that the actions of the department against you did shock you. Is that correct? You were shocked when you received the court order. You did not expect that. Is that correct?
But just before the witness responds, I mean, there is a concern that she's being asked. Mr. Pichela, Sibara, I've noted you. There is a concern that you are asking her leading questions. Perhaps the question should be asked differently. How did she feel about the eviction? How was the way they were treated? How did she feel? But it seems you are now putting words into her mouth to say the actions.
It stands in her statement. That's the word that she used in her statement. I'm not putting words into her mouth.
Can we go to the statement? Let us look at that.
Paragraph
7. Yes.
Paragraph 7 on page 496, line 3.
Paragraph 7.
That's correct, my lady.
Okay, perhaps you should direct her to the statement because it's like you are coming with something. Can I hear the others, Mr. Sibara and Mr. Pichela?
Madam, I think you've summed it up. It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Pichela, you want to say something?
My lady, just to clarify the sequence of events, that the court order was preceded by a letter, which was on the 8th, and then the court order, I think, is dated the 12th.
Yes, we know about
Yes.
that.
As your ladyship pleases.
Thank you very much, Ms. Foster, you may proceed.
Thank you, my lady.
We were on you were on paragraph 7.
You testify, or in your statement, line 3 on paragraph 7 on page 496, you said that it was shocking to me.
Yes.
Do you confirm? Why do you say shocking?
It was shocking because I did not see it coming. And I felt very used because I've been taking care of patients from the 9th, as I said, and all of a sudden, now I'm getting a letter to be removed and be told that I'm operating illegally. I did not see it coming.
Okay. And will I be correct to say that the operating illegally was the fact that a license was put at the back of the door by Ms. Jacobus, issued in the name of Life Disciples?
Yeah, maybe before the witness answers, how did you understand this to say that you were operating illegally, according to you?
Because of in the letter that was, if I remember correctly, in the letter that was dated the 7th, it stated that I was operating without a license. So I understood that they were saying I'm operating without a license, or with a license that does not have the name of Siabadinga.
Okay. Yes, continue.
So, court pleases. Ms. Ngile, I will take you to the letter. It may be prudent now at this stage. On page 4073, is that the letter that you now answered the court on? Page number 4073?
Yes, I'm looking at the letter.
This letter was again signed by Dr. Silabanu. He was the author.
Can the witness deal with that? She's still looking at the letter. Let's not throw all these questions to her. Let there be sequence so that she can answer the first question and then you proceed to the next one, please.
Yes, I read the letter. This is the letter I was referring to, counsel.
And on page 4074, the letter was signed by Dr. Silabanu. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, counsel.
In paragraph 2 of this letter, it is stated that it has come to our attention that you are running a residential facility for people with mental health disorders at Cullinan Care Rehabilitation Centre without the requisite permission by the Gauteng Department of Health for the admission, treatment and accommodation of persons.
Yes, counsel?
Will it be correct if I put it to you that this paragraph is in total contradiction with what you conveyed in your paragraph 6 of your statement on page 496, where you said that you had been corresponding with Dr. Manamela. You talked to Hannah Jacobus. They came to visit your premises. They assisted you with the issuing of medication up until the 1st of July. So this paragraph is in total contradiction with what you believed. Is that correct?
Just before you answer, there is a hand, Ms. Marriott.
Thank you, my lady. My lady, I do not see the relevance for this line of questioning. It's not going to assist the court coming to a finding pertaining to causality. I don't know where Advocate Foster is going with these questions.
Yes, Ms. Foster. Can the witness step aside, please?
My lady, once again, the witness did not know this was coming. The court asked her,
can you step aside? Thank you.
What did she believe? Why was she evicted illegally? Now there's a letter that forms part of the record that was led in evidence in chief that was handed in as exhibit that this witness testified about. And a paragraph 2 of this letter is in total contradiction with what she believed, pointing out that the Department of Health knew exactly what was going on at Siabadinga. But then on the 8th of July, she's presented with a letter in total contradiction with whatever was happening there from the 9th of May when Siabadinga was open. So how is that not relevant?
Mr. Late, please mute your mic. Mr. Sibara.
Thank you, my lady. My learned colleague started very well with her cross-examination. And she mentioned that she's representing 4 persons who passed away, including Mr. Stores. How will this letter assist this court with the determination of causation, causes of death of these 4 mental health care users who were at Siabadinga? If we then accept the contents of the letter as it is, how does it assist? Where is the nexus between the letter and the death, unfortunately, for example, of Mr. Stolz? If one can take it a bit further, how does this have connection to the death of Ms. Sifuka? We don't even have a postmortem report. I think we are going around in circles, my lady, with documents which, in my view, they won't assist this court to a greater extent. It could have been that she was sent a letter of eviction. It could have been that she was told she was operating without a license. Operating with a license, without a license, where is the nexus to the death of these 4 individuals?
Yes, Ms. Foster, we hear what you have just told the court. I don't want you to repeat. If you can just enlighten the court as to where you are going, because surely, with regard to the issue of causation is something else. Maybe you can assist us, because we don't repeat what you've just said.
How can it not relate to causation if the guardian of these patients that died at Siabadinga, the Department of Health, on the 8th of July tells a person who has been looking after these patients for 2 months, say, now you have been acting illegally. We did not know that. Whilst in her own statement, she says the department was aware of that. They knew what was going on. These patients were kept without medicine for more than a month. But in a letter, so how can I use this as in cross-examination if I did not put it to this witness, the person to who this letter was addressed to? So if Dr. Silabanu comes and testifies, how can I ever cross-examine him if this letter was not canvassed with this witness?
Okay, let me hear Ms. Marriott. I'll come back to you.
The people did not die of nothing. They did not die because they did receive food or they did receive medication. They've been at CCRC for 30 years and all of a sudden they're taken out and they die. Obviously, it relates to causation and that can be argued at the end of the day. So if I can just proceed, I'm sure we can be finalized with my cross-examination very quickly.
Just a second. Can I hear Mr. Late?
My lady, I don't want to sound academic, but Mrs. Foster must understand the difference between causation and fault. The degree of negligence.
Fault in the form of negligence.
That's correct. And the degree of negligence has nothing to do with the cause of death. If the actions of whoever are involved in this matter cannot be linked to the cause of death of a person, there is no causation. Factual and legal causation is referred to here. Mr. Sibara hit the nail on the head. None of the deceased, Ms. Foster,
is representing the family.
Is representing can be linked to any action by anybody prima facie on regarding their causes of death. If Mrs. Foster can show to us how she can link causably the actions of Dr. Silabano, his signature on that letter, or the drafting of the letter to whoever is died, I don't have a problem with the examination. But she's now going back to what had happened in the arbitration, where the general
questions
fault of the department was accepted. And furthermore, this witness is asked whether what is stated in the letter is in contradiction to what is said in her statement. That is something that can be argued. Why must it be asked for this witness whether it is contradictory to a statement? We can all read it, and Mrs. Foster can argue to that effect in the end. But I don't think this questioning should be allowed any further. All the evidence is on record, my lady.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Foster, do you want to say something? But I've given
lady, if this inquest
just before, I'm going to stop you just a second. I want you to couple this with what Ms. Asim is going to say. Ms. Asim?
Thank you, my lady. It's just on the arguments that are being made around causation. I think it's very clear that the most difficult aspect of this inquest is the issue of causation.
Yes.
There are a lot of facts in this matter. There's a lot of facts on the record. The question of whether there's a sufficiently close connection between the acts of any person, whether it's in government or in the NGOs, whether there's a sufficient connection between their acts and the deaths that occurred, and by that I mean specific deaths, is quite fraught. And it's clear that we certainly will need to present argument to this court on why, if any counsel or anyone in this inquest were to attempt to persuade this court that there is some causal connection, then there's quite a work to be done to persuade the court on the argument, on legal argument. The factual scenario is, what I would request is that the court allows questioning on the basis that the question is attempting to show a sufficient connection between actions of whichever actor is, relevant to the question being asked and the ultimate death. Whether there is or there isn't sufficient connection is going to be a matter for argument. But I don't think it's as clear-cut as Mr. Late puts it. The issue of the line between fault and causation has been blurred by in many cases, some of which we will seek to use in argument. And so I'm careful that we should not, expand this inquest and to allow, completely irrelevant questioning. But my request is to not take a narrow view.
Okay.
That's,
thank you very much.
Thank you, my lady.
Yes, Ms. Foster.
Thank you, Ms. Asim. Thank you, my lady. My lady, I will just want to add to what Advocate Asim has said, and the following we must not lose sight of the fact that if it was as easy as the degrees of negligence and foresee the possibility, why are we not busy with a criminal trial? Why are we going then through this process of having an inquest? Because it can simply not be that clear-cut, that if I do not have a post-mortem and there is not a cause of death, nobody can be held responsible, or there cannot be a prima facie case. Okay. So I would really request the court just to indulge with me. I'm very sure that I'm not asking irrelevant questions. I'm not going beyond the scope of what is already contained in the record.
The statement of the witness, Mr. Dorothy Franks, as it appears on case line pages 359 to 362, it's admitted into evidence and it's marked exhibit EE1.
As the court pleases.
I hope this is the correct number, Ms. Marriott, and the others, Mr. Van Bergen.
Yes, my lady.
Okay, thank you.
It is, my lady.
It's correct.
Continue.
As the court pleases, my lady. Ma'am, let's now proceed to page 2679. Are you on that page?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, this is a statement. It is indicated as A26. Can you confirm that it's a one-page statement? Can you confirm that the signature on that statement belongs to you?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, do you confirm that when the statement was taken, the contents thereof were read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And do you confirm that the contents are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you further confirm that you understood at the time that this statement was being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, may I beg leave to hand up the statement as an exhibit?
Is there any objection?
No objection, my lady.
Thank you. The statement of the witness, as it appears on page 2679, it's admitted into evidence and it's marked exhibit EE2.
As the court pleases. Then may we move to page 3857.
Yes, Councillor.
Just look at the statement again, look at the initials on each page, as well as the signature at the end thereof.
Yes, it's my signature.
Now, do you confirm that when the statement was taken, the contents thereof were read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that the contents are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you further confirm that you understood at the time that the statement was being taken, that is taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I hand up the statement as an exhibit.
Any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you, Mr. Pinar. The statement of the witness, as it appears on pages 3857 to 3858, case line, it's admitted into evidence and marked exhibit EE3.
As the court pleases. Ma'am, can we then now move to page 3893? It's a statement in manuscript.
Yes, Councillor.
Now again, look at the initials or the signature at the end of each page, and also the signature appearing at the last page of the statement?
Yes, Councillor, it's my signature.
Now, correct?
Yes, Councillor.
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you. The statement as it appears on case line pages 428 to 4229 is admitted into evidence and marked exhibit EE6.
As your ladyship pleases.
Can you please mute your mic? Thank you.
May I then proceed, my lady?
Yes, but I don't know whether the person was in the vicinity of the witness or what. Please, you need not. Oh, they were not next to you.
No, my lady.
All right, thank you. Continue.
Ma'am, let's move to page 4789.
Yes, Councillor.
Can you confirm the signature on that document, whether it's your signature?
Yes, Councillor.
You further confirm that at the time the statement was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
You further confirm the contents thereof to be true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you further confirm that you understood that this statement was being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
With the leave of the court, my lady, I beg to end up this document statement as an exhibit.
Any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
The document that appears on page 4789 is a statement by the witness. It is admitted into evidence and marked exhibit EE7.
As your ladyship pleases. Ma'am, can we then move to page 4816?
Yes, Councillor.
Are you on that page?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, this appears to be a document titled as an inspection under the letterhead of Anchor Center. On page 4816, at the bottom thereof, there is initials, DE, and a surname, Franks, indicated as director. Do you confirm that that is yourself?
Yes, Councillor.
And who compiled this document?
I compile it, Councillor.
So you are familiar with the contents thereof and you confirm them to be true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I would like to end up this document.
Any objection? Any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you. The document that appears on page 4816 is admitted into evidence and marked exhibit EE8.
As your ladyship pleases. Ma'am, if you scroll down.
Just a second, is it necessary to mark this as an exhibit? I don't think so. It is part of and parcel of the record, Miss the evidence leaders.
Yes,
my lady.
Yes.
It's not necessary for it to be marked as an exhibit. It forms part of the record already.
Yes, thank you.
As your ladyship pleases. Then can we move to page 4872?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, again, please identify this document, your signature on the document.
Yes, Councillor.
You confirm that it is your initials and your signature at the end of that document?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, do you confirm that at the time when this statement was taken, the contents were read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that the contents are true and correct?
Councillor.
And you further confirm that at the time you understood that this statement is being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I would like to end up this statement as an exhibit.
Any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you. The statement as it appears on pages 4872 to 4874 case line is admitted into evidence and marked exhibit EE8.
As your ladyship pleases. Can we then move to page 6045?
Yes, Councillor.
Ma'am, look at the document, even though the signature is obscured by a stamp. Are you able to make out a signature on this document?
Yes, it's my signature, Councillor.
Now you confirm that when this document was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm the contents thereof to be true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that at the time you understood that this statement is being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to end up this statement as an exhibit.
Is there any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you, Mr. Piner. The document as it appears on page 6045, case line, is handed in and marked exhibit EE9.
If your ladyship pleases. May we then move to page 6164?
Yes, Councillor.
There is a signature appearing at the bottom of that page, 6164. You confirm that to be your signature?
Yes, Councillor.
You confirm that at the time that the statement was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And that you confirm that the contents thereof are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that you understood at the time that this statement was being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to end up this statement as an exhibit.
Is there any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
The document is admitted. The document as it appears on pages 6164 to 6165 case line. It's admitted into record, into the evidence, and it's marked exhibit EE10.
As your ladyship pleases. May we then move to page 10858?
Page 10858,
my lady.
Yes, Councillor.
At the bottom of this page 10858, there appears to be an initial, and then there is a signature on the second page. Can you confirm whether those belong to you?
Councillor.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes, Councillor.
Now you confirm that you confirm that at the time this signature was, this document was taken, the contents were read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that those contents are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And then,
yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to end up this document as an exhibit.
Is there any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you. The statement of the witness as it appears on pages 10858 to 10859. It's admitted into the record and it's marked exhibit EE11.
As your ladyship pleases. Now we then move to page 13331.
Yes, Councillor.
Again, confirm the initialing and the signature on the second page, whether those belong to you.
Yes, Councillor.
Now you confirm that at the time this statement was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And that the contents thereof are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And that you understood at the time that this statement was being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to end up this statement as an exhibit.
Any objection? Is there any objection to
May
the
it please the court, my lady? Sorry, no.
Thank
no
you.
Objection, my lady.
The document that appears on case line pages 1333-1 to 1333-2 is admitted into evidence and marked Exhibit EE12.
As your Lordship pleases. May we then move to page 3860.
Yes, Councillor.
It's a one-page document. It contains a signature. Can you confirm whether that is your signature?
Yes, Councillor.
You confirm that at the time the statement was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
And that the contents thereof are true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you further confirm that you understood at the time that the statement was being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to hand up this statement as an exhibit.
Thank you. Is there any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you. The document that appears on case line page 3860 is admitted into evidence and marked Exhibit EE13.
As your ladyship pleases. My lady, may we then move to page 5162.
Page
5162, my lady.
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, this appears to be a duplicate of the first statement EE1.
Yes.
Your ladyship can verify.
I agree, my lady.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Merritt. I also agree the document can be excluded. Thank you.
As your ladyship pleases. Now, we then move to page 6284.
Yes, Councillor.
Ma'am, have a look at this statement. There appears to be initialing and a signature on the second page thereof. Can you confirm that those initials and signature belong to you?
Yes, Councillor.
Do you confirm that at the time that the statement was taken, it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
You confirm the contents thereof to be true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you confirm that you understood at the time that you are making the statement under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, I beg to enter up the statement as an exhibit.
Any objection?
May it please the court, my lady, no objection.
Thank you, Mr. Pinar. The statement that appears on case line page 6284 to 6285 is admitted into.
My lady, the statement has a table also that's included. She refers in the statement of the list of patients that's on page 6286. I would submit the statement should be handed in together with page 6286.
Just a second, I'm still looking here. Yes,
I
there's a list.
confirm, my lady.
Yes, maybe the just bear with me. The statement as it appears from pages 6284 to page 6286. Or should I separate them? But I don't want to separate them because this include it goes hand in hand with this list. So,
My lady, the statement refers to the list, so it's inclusive.
yes, correct. So then it's fine. Pages 6284 to 6286 is admitted into the record and marked Exhibit EE 14.
As your ladyship pleases. May we then go to page 13652.
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, this again appears to be a duplicate of the EE1 and Exhibit EE1. Your ladyship can just confirm.
I confirm, my lady.
Yes, just bear with me. Okay, this was 359. Yes, I agree that the statement that is being referred to on page 13652 case line is a duplication of the previous statement that appears on page 359 to 362. That statement can therefore be excluded.
As your ladyship pleases. To the extent, my lady, that I've been able to detect the documents which are relevant in respect of this witness, I would submit that those are the documents that pertain to the testimony of this witness before court today.
Okay.
Unless the evidence leaders have been able to detect something else.
Yes, before he proceeds, anyone who has been able to get other statements which do not relate to those that have already been admitted into the record?
My lady, I have two statements.
Yes, Ms. Merritt.
It's on page 13327.
Just let me just note the pages. Page 12237.
13327.
3327.
To 13330.
To 13330.
And then page 3911.
3911, yes.
Now, those are the only statements that I have.
This is, let me just correct the pages. The first one is page 12237.
No, 13327.
122.
13327.
No, I've got that one. It means I made a mistake. So these are the only two documents. 13327 to 13330 and page 3911.
Yes, my lady.
Mr. Pichela, do you want to look at the statement quickly?
I'm perusing the statement, my lady, and my lady, there's no objection with this statement. Ma'am, can you look at page 13327?
Yes, Councillor.
At the bottom of each page, there appears to be a signature or initialing. Can you confirm that those are your initials?
Yes, Councillor.
And on page 13330, there is a signature. You confirm that to be your signature?
Sorry, Councillor, what is the other number?
The last page, 1330.
1330.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor.
Now, when the statement was taken, do you confirm that it was read back to you?
Yes, Councillor.
You confirm the contents thereof to be true and correct?
Yes, Councillor.
And you further confirm that you understood at the time that this statement is being taken under oath?
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, with the leave of the court, we hand up this document as an exhibit.
Is there any objection?
Right, please, the court, my lady, no objection.
The document as it appears on case line pages 13327 to 13330 is handed in and marked exhibit EE15.
As your ladyship pleases. May we then move to that document that is referred to on page 3911. It's essentially a one-page statement. Are you on that page, ma'am?
Yes, Councillor.
There is a signature at the bottom of this page 3911. You confirm that to be your signature?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, when the
Just a second, as you are busy with that document, I think my apologies, this document has already been handed in. It has been handed in as exhibit EE5.
Indeed, my lady, apologies.
Yes. Thank you. Then you can proceed from there. Do you agree, Ms. Marriott?
I apologize, my lady, then I missed that exhibit.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have questions to the witness, Mr. Pichela?
Indeed, my lady, just a few amendments, starting with the statement on page 359.
This is now EE1.
As your ladyship pleases. Mrs. Franks?
Yes, Councillor.
You indicated to me during our consultation that there are certain amendments that you'd like to make to this document.
Yes, Councillor.
Maybe we can start on paragraph 2.
Yes, Councillor.
Are there any amendments that you need to make in respect of that paragraph?
I'm going to propose that just a second, for the sake of progress, let her look at the statement and indicate which paragraphs she wants to amend. Can you go, as you go along reading the statements, you can indicate as to what is it that you want to correct on the statement, Ms. Franks? Is it understood?
Yes, my lady.
Yes, just go through the statements properly.
My lady, on paragraph 2.
Yes.
I am the former owner. I was the manager of Anchor House.
You are not the owner?
No. No, my lady.
So this is line 1, paragraph 2.
That's, yes, my lady.
Former owner should read former manager.
Manager, yes. Yes, my lady.
Yes. Continue.
My lady, I don't know if I should then just proceed to ask questions in respect of that, so that we can then make progress.
Yes, you can. You can.
Yes,
If you want to deal with the paragraph, that's fine. But isn't it better for her just to highlight the corrections and then you'll come back with the corrections with the questions, so that we shouldn't interfere with her evidence? Let her finish with the amendments.
The only concern is the pace, my lady. We want to move very slow.
Well, I don't know if that can assist us not to, because the more you interfere with her, then you're going to have problems. It's better if she finishes everything. I don't know, but she is the court's witness. You are the one who is leading the witness.
Yes, your ladyship pleases, because the issue that I wanted to bring forward was with regard to the evidence that is contained in paragraph 2. So there are certain additional issues that might be elicited from her, and then we can move on to the next paragraph.
As you can proceed.
Mrs. Franks,
Yes, Councillor.
as the manager, what were your responsibilities?
Okay, as a manager, my responsibilities was to make sure that the center is in good standing, the patients are looked after, the patients have food, they are clothed, the washing has been done.
Just go slow.
Okay, sorry.
The center is in good standing, the patients have food.
The patients have clean clothes on, the beds are in order.
Yes. Anything else? Are we still together? I thought I was kicked out of the meeting.
Oh, sorry, my lady, and that all the workers are in order for the day. They must register as they come in for the day.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you want to add anything further? Or that is all you want to say?
No, Councillor.
Or that is all?
Yes, Councillor.
Were you also responsible for the finances of the project of Anchor House or Anchor Home?
Councillor, as a NPO, we have a board of directors, and the board of directors, as we go into the finances, the admin lady will do all the necessary documentations. I will then check it, and after I've checked it, I send it through to the treasurer to check further and do the payments on that.
Thank you, ma'am. Were you responsible for hiring of staff?
Yes, Councillor.
At the beginning of the marathon project, what was your staff complement?
At the beginning of the marathon, I had 1 professional nurse, 26 caregivers.
Just hold it there. You had 1 professional nurse, 36?
Sorry, 26 caregivers.
Yes.
And 7 cleaners.
And?
7 cleaners.
Continue.
And just for the sake of accuracy, at the beginning of the project, what is the date? When you started receiving patients? The date when you started receiving, yes.
Do you remember the date?
I can't hear you clearly. I can't hear you clearly.
The date when? Yes, at the beginning of the project. What was the date?
The date of the project when I went to Cullinan.
No. At the time when we're saying now, when you were describing this stuff, the stuff that you had.
My lady.
What?
Yes, just a second. I didn't see any hand. Is that Mr. Late?
Yes, my lady. Mr. Pichela is breaking up. I don't know whether it's only at my side or at your ladyship's side also.
I don't have any problem myself. I don't know.
Can we just then leave and reconnect, please, my lady?
Okay, please, you may do that. Yes. Please let us, Miss Franz, if you don't hear him.
I'll do so,
Okay.
my lady.
Yes, okay.
Maybe to assist you, Mrs. Franks, in order to put a timeline, can you indicate when you first started receiving patients?
On the 23rd of June, Councillor.
Yes. Thank you. Now, on the 23rd of June, what was your staff complement? Are they the one that you've just testified about?
Yes, Councillor.
Did you at any time ever have to acquire more staff?
Yes, Councillor.
And when was that?
In August, I can't remember the exact date, but in August 2016, there was an auxiliary nurse that came in. And in September, after we received payment, I could afford to hire more nurses. So I hired psychiatric nurse.
How many?
One psychiatric nurse.
Yes.
One auxiliary nurse. Two staff nurses.
Just hold it there. Yes. Is that all?
That is all, my lady.
So if I understand you properly, then it means that as of September 2016, you had one professional nurse, one psychiatric nurse.
Yes, Councillor.
26 caregivers.
Yes, Councillor.
7 cleaners.
Yes, Councillor.
2 auxiliary nurses.
Yes, Councillor.
And 3 staff nurses, correct?
Yes, yes, Councillor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, if we can move to paragraph 3 of your statement. The same statement that we are on, page 359.
That will be page. You can give us the page number.
359. Let's quickly look through the paragraph and indicate if there are any changes you wish to make in respect of the date and the information that is therein.
No, Councillor, there's no changes on that page, on that paragraph.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Let's now go to paragraph 4.
Yes, Councillor, I'm reading.
Please also indicate if there are any changes or amendments that you wish to make in respect of paragraph 4.
No, Councillor, there's no changes.
Then let's move to in line 6 of this paragraph 4. Are you
Yes,
there, ma'am?
Councillor. Yes, Councillor.
The statement starts from line 4. It says, in April 2016, I was notified that there was an open space at Kalafong Hospital. Hannah Jacobus indicated that I and Ethel should go to Kalafong Hospital to meet her there and view the place.
Yes,
I
Councillor.
went to Kalafong Hospital and met Hannah Jacobus in the company of Ethel Ngube. There were two unused words that she had identified for me, and so on and so forth. Now, am I understanding you correctly that this is what happened? These paragraphs that I've just read to you, they all happened on the same day of April? Or was it on different dates?
No, it happened on April, Councillor. Same day.
Thank you,
I can't
ma'am.
identify what date, but in April, yes, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let's move to paragraph 5. It's a very, very long paragraph.
No, Councillor, no changes.
Now, just to assist the court in making sense of this entire paragraph, the first patients that you received were on the 23rd of June, as you have testified, correct? And that is in 2016.
Yes, Councillor.
How many patients did you receive on that day?
30 patients, Councillor.
The next batch of patients that you received were on which day, and how many of them?
The next batch was on the 29th of June 2016.
And how many patients did you receive on that day?
Was 40 patients.
40.
Yes, my lady.
So am I correct then to say that on the 29th of June, we had a total of 70 patients?
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you. Now, at CCRC, how many wards were you occupying?
I occupied 2 wards.
And
Councillor?
what was the capacity in respect of each ward?
The capacity was 25 patients per ward. Councillor?
Now, how long did you have?
Yes.
Now, how are you able to accommodate 70 patients in 2 wards with a capacity of 50?
Sorry, Councillor, rephrase your question.
I'm saying, how are you able to accommodate 70 patients in 2 wards that could only accommodate 50?
Okay, if I may come in, Councillor. Remember on the 29th, there was 40 patients.
Yes.
That came in with a bus. As I've stated there, Dr. Malamela, Anna, Rochelle, and Franz Tobani was there. As I've stated in my statement, the same day, we said to Dr. Malamela that we can't accommodate this 40 patients. So they arranged that Ethel Nube will come and fetch some patients to reduce my total. And 3 patients were sent to Diane.
So just so we are clear, how many patients did Ms. Nube take from you on that day?
Ms. Nube took 6 patients, Councillor.
And the ones that ended up at Siabadinga?
According to my knowledge, it was 3 patients.
So meaning that you are left with now, what, 61?
That's right, Councillor.
You are left with how many?
My lady, it's my calculation.
6 went to her, 6 went to Miss Ethel Move, 3 to Siabadinga, and?
So it's 70, my lady, minus 9. Because 6 went to Ethel, 3 went to DN. So leaving 61 by my calculation.
Yes, that's right, Councillor.
And with this 61 patients, how are you able to accommodate them in a ward that can only accommodate 50?
Okay, as we stated in that,
Hello?
Well, I don't know if I was the only one kicked out or.
We were all kicked out.
Oh, let's God pleases.
Let's just wait for the witness and the others. I think you can proceed, Mr. Pichel.
Yes, Your Ladyship pleases.
Your last question was, how did she accommodate the 61 in the 2 wards that could only accommodate 50 patients?
That is correct, my lady.
Yes, Ms. Franks?
Yes, my lady. As I stated in my report that Hannah Jacobus and Rochelle, Dr. Malamela sent them to fetch more bedding and beds so that we can accommodate the other patients.
What did she do? She came and?
No, she sent them to fetch more bedding because at that time we didn't.
Miss Hannah Jacobus and Rochelle.
That's right, my lady.
Yes.
To fetch more bedding and beds to accommodate the patients.
So you were forced to squeeze them in the ward that can only carry 50?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, I understand that you catered for male and female patients, correct?
Yeah, I didn't cater for them, but they brought male and female patients in. But we tried to accommodate the male and the female, but we don't have, it wasn't separate wards for males and females.
Yes.
Yes, only then. So they were mixed?
Yes, my lady.
There was no separate wards for males or females?
No, my lady.
Okay.
It was only a wall that separated them, my lady.
Thank you. Continue.
Now, did you report this issue to the officials of the department?
To?
Officials of the department, my lady. This problem of overcrowding and mixing of male and female patients.
Councillor, if I must say, they were all there and they were actually placed these patients in the wards there. So they knew about everything that happened there.
Were you offered any assistance to try and resolve this issue? Were you offered any assistance to try and correct this problem?
Okay, according to me, this patient was there, and when the DG came, he actually came and do an inspection, and he said health officials must make sure that the males and females must be split. So they must make sure that the females must be gone by the next day, because we can't put males and females together. Councillor?
And by DDG, who are you referring to?
Councillor, I can't remember who was the DG that night that came to do inspections.
Thank you, ma'am. On this date of the 29th of June, did you receive any further patients?
No, Councillor.
So during the project marathon, from the start until you were terminated, you were caring for this 61 patients?
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move to the next paragraph.
Yes, Councillor.
It's paragraph 6. If you can just read through the paragraph.
No changes, Councillor. I've read through it.
Now, in keeping with the versions that have been put to witnesses.
Can I get that page again, Mr. 359? Thank you.
Malay, we're on 360 now.
Yes, it's fine. It's just that when one was kicked out, then I was also kicked out of case line. That's fine. Continue.
Now, there is one issue that I would like you to address to this honorable court. Apologies, my lady, to take the court a step back. I think it's on paragraph 5, line number 13, 1-3, from the bottom.
Line 1-3 from the bottom.
Correct, my lady. It starts with, there was no proper handing over when clients were brought to my facility.
Yes, Councillor.
Can you clarify the court on what you are referring to here when you say there was no proper handing over when patients were brought?
On the 23rd.
If you read paragraph 5, just count line number from the bottom, count upwards, 13. You will see where it says there was no proper handing over when clients were brought to my facility. The patients were not brought with their files and identity books. Patients were brought late in the afternoon and were not washed before being transferred, and so on and so forth.
Yes, Councillor.
Do you see that portion?
Yes, Councillor.
The question I was asking from you is, what do you mean by there was no proper handing over?
What I mean that there was no files. We didn't have any files for the patients. There was only a discharge form and a prescription form. We didn't check the patients properly from the one side, like CRC or from the bus. We didn't check the patients properly. We
Just go slow, Miss Franks. You say that there were no files, there was no discharge forms, and then who didn't check the patients?
There was a discharge form and prescription forms.
I don't understand now. You said there were no files, there were no discharge forms.
No, there was no files, but there was a discharge form and a prescription form when they hand the patients over. Some have IDs and some didn't have IDs.
Now, if I understand you, maybe to put everything in a proper context, what you are referring to here is with reference to the patients that you received on the 23rd of June. Am I correct?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, were you present when these patients arrived at Siabadinga?
At Anchor Center.
Sorry, Anchor. It's one area.
Yes, Councillor.
Were you able to observe the physical appearance of these patients?
It was really a struggle because other patients was just dropped because as we said in our statement.
Just a second, I'm very sorry. Just before
okay,
you proceed.
Sorry.
Yes. The question is, were you present when they arrived? Then from there you can start explaining these other things.
Yes, Councillor. Yes, my lady.
Yes, then you can explain what you want to explain.
Okay, on the 23rd, that patients that came in, it was a pack of a bundle of discharge forms and prescription forms, and there was wash racks and toothpaste in another packet, and the nurses just came in and dropped off the patients, and some of them had IDs. They give us some IDs and some didn't have. And I report this incident to Ms. Hannah Jacobs because she came there and I said to her, please help me with this because they just dropped the patients, and she intervened and said to the nurses that they can't just drop off the patients. And so the nurse said, sorry. And so she said they must call the CEO, said that she can speak to the CEO of the hospital. And that's where the CEO came in and she said, sorry, we can't take this patients back. We dealt with it, so they must also deal with it.
And by the CEO, who are you referring to?
Mrs. The CEO of Cullinan, Mrs. Nyatlo.
Or Mrs. Nyatlo.
That's right, Councillor.
Lady, may I proceed?
Yes, I'm listening.
As your ladyship pleases. Now, medication, did they have medication on them when they came?
Some had medication and some didn't have medication. And the nurses said they will bring the medication the next day.
And what was your role during this process?
My role was manager to see to the needs of the operational side.
And what do you mean by that?
I was looking at the operational side, like if patients have a bed to sleep, is there enough bedding? Is there food? Have they got clothes on? Is the place clean? Are the patients washed? Are they fed? Councillor?
So from what I understand, you cannot be able to assist this court with regard to anything medical.
No, Councillor.
Then, my lady, we can move on. To the next page. On paragraph 6, before we move to paragraph 7, on paragraph 6.
Yes, Councillor. Paragraph 6.
Line number 7. From the bottom, if you are counting from the bottom, it's line number 7. From the
yes,
top, it will be, yeah. Can you clarify what you refer to the date of the 29th of June, 2016, and you say, I received 40 patients directly from Life Esidimeni. Do you see that part?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, my question to you is, have you ever received patients directly from Life Esidimeni?
No, Councillor.
Now, what do you mean here when you were referring to having received 40 patients directly from Life Esidimeni?
That day, I was informed by the health department I must send some of my care workers to the office of the department, and they will accompany Mr. Mahale to Life Esidimeni with a bus to get the patients. But they didn't say in detail how many patients. They just said that they're going to Life Esidimeni to fetch some patients.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, all these patients that you were receiving on the 23rd of June, were you able to identify all of them?
No, Councillor.
Just hold it there. Yes.
How long did it take you to go through the process of trying to identify these patients?
Come again?
The process, my lady, of trying to identify the patients. How long did it take them as anchor after they were delivered?
Almost from the 23rd, almost up till the 29th. We try to identify patients.
So by as late as the 29th, you are still struggling to identify some of the patients?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, did you receive any assistance with this process of identifying the patients from CCRC?
No, Councillor. I actually informed Ms. Hannah Jacobs that there's some patients that don't have IDs. So according to them, they will check whether they can find out for IDs for us. And then one day, Mr. Mahale came there with some IDs, and then we just identify whether it's patients from our side, and then the others, if there's no IDs for us, then he takes it to the other center. That's how we try to identify the patients, that they knew about it and they said they will intervene for us.
Now, were you perhaps maybe handed a list of all those 30 patients with their names?
No, counsellor, I didn't have a list. I just checked on the discharge forms. And if we have a patient, according to the discharge forms.
Now, are there pictures on the discharge forms?
No, counsellor.
So how are you able to then pick up that this discharge form relates to this particular patient?
Counsellor, as I said, if I had an ID, then and I can identify the patient according to the ID, then I check for the discharge form, and then that's how we identify the patients, and then we try to put a sticker on the patient.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, with the second batch of patients that were received, did you encounter similar problems?
Yes, counsellor.
And that is on the 29th.
Yes, counsellor.
And what were those problems that you encountered?
By that time, there was a small file that Life has sent through to us. Some of that files had a photo in, and that's how we identify the patients.
When you say Life, are you saying to directly from Life Esidimeni or from CCRC?
No, on the 29th, it was from Life, counsellor.
So you requested that file and it was provided?
No, the file, there was files that the caregivers brought, and that small file that the caregivers brought, there was a picture of the patient in the file with the name and with the discharge form.
My lady, I would like to refer the witness to the statement that is on 6284 and also the list that appears on 6286. I think it should be exhibit EE14.
Yes, I think that is the one.
Just to, because I see that the testimony that is being led now coincides with the information that appears on that document.
Oh, yes.
Ma'am, on page 6284, it's your statement. Are you on that page?
Yes, counsellor.
Now, maybe just reacquaint yourself with that statement. It's not a very long statement, so just go through it quickly.
Yes, counsellor.
Now, let's start with the date of the 23rd of June. And before we get into this statement, do you see any amendments that you wish to make with reference to that date that is contained in the statement?
Okay, as I see there, where I said the patient came in with a medication and files. On the 23rd, there was no files, only discharge forms and prescription forms. And there was medication, but not all of them had medication.
Just hold it there. Yes, continue.
And on the second subparagraph, you describe an incident. You are saying from what aid?
Yes, Councillor.
Yes, can you relate that incident to this honorable court?
Yes, Councillor. The nurse from Ward 8 to 9 brought, it wasn't files, it was the discharge forms.
I don't follow. You can explain that?
It was only discharge forms.
That is now from what? 8.5 patients
yes.
Came in with no files and
no files, no identification and no medication. And the nurse of the hospital left, and she said to us that their wards is also full, and I said to her, our wards is also full. So she just left, and she said and they pushed in the patients and left the patients, and she left.
Okay, just so that we have a proper understanding of your story, ma'am.
Yes, Councillor.
Here you are saying from what aid 5 patients came in with no files and identification or medication. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, Councillor.
And you describe how they were just left in the hallway without telling you the names.
Yes, Councillor.
Now, what I want to understand with reference to this date of the 23rd, these 5 patients, are they part of the 30 that were brought to you at one time, or are this an additional number of patients that were brought?
They were part of the 30, Councillor.
So the 30 that you described as the patients that you had on the 23rd, they did not arrive at one go. They didn't bring them in as one group. They brought them in phases or something of that nature.
That's right, Councillor.
Maybe just give the court insight into how that process unfolded. If you can still recall.
Yes,
Councillor, if I can recall.
Before you respond, if you can just step aside, let's hear what Ms. Marriott is going to say. Yes, Ms. Marriott.
Thank you, my lady. I've listened to the questions Advocate Petlela has now been asking the witness, and I do not see
I'm asking that the witness step aside. Thank you. Yes,
I do not see the relevance pertaining to causality in this regard. This is general information that is contained in the statements.
Mr. Petlela?
My lady, firstly, this is evidence in chief. Secondly, I'm giving the statement of this witness a proper perspective. Your ladyship can note that we have recorded up to 15 exhibits. Now, some of the information in these exhibits overlaps, and without getting a proper context from this witness, it's going to be difficult to make sense of all of it. Now, we have agreed that the scope in terms of causation, it's very wide, and we shouldn't limit it unnecessarily. For now, we are just setting the groundwork, relating one aspect of each statement to the next one. Because as your ladyship has noted, initially I referred to the statement EE1 on 359. And at the same time, we paused on paragraph 6 and went to 6284 because those incidents are related. So it's a continuation of what is contained in paragraph 6, my lady. And now it appears that there was a further 5 patients that were also brought, which will then mean the number of 30 is incorrect. And the purpose of this exercise is to affect corrections. So I don't see what is objectionable there. Maybe a preference on how the evidence should be led, but beyond that, there is no basis.
Ms. Merritt?
My lady, the witness testified the 5 patients that Advocate Pitlela now mentioned as additional patients. She said they were part of the 30 patients. So that information is already before this court. I was also stopped when I wanted to ask another NGO to do background information, and it was agreed by this court that only information relevant to causation needs to be covered.
Mr. Pitlela?
So, my lady, now it's a tit for tat. Why are we referring to things that happened in the past? Because that is unrelated to what is happening now.
Yes, I can understand where you are getting, but it shouldn't be, you shouldn't just relax. Please make your point and move, because we cannot be repeating what is contained in the statements.
I will endeavor to do so, my lady, to the best of my
ability. If you want
ability.
her to highlight what you want her to highlight, just go to the point and then we move. You seem to be relaxed, I don't know.
That's your leadership. This.
Continue.
The witness, my lady.
Yes, she's back.
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Franks, the only thing that I wanted to understand from you, and that is if you are able to recall and provide it to the court.
Yes, Councillor.
Do you hear me?
Sorry, Councillor, I can't hear you clearly.
I also couldn't hear you. If you can just repeat, I don't know whether it's the position or it's the connectivity, the connection there.
Perhaps the connectivity, my lady. What I was saying, Mrs. Frank, was we understand that on the 23rd of June, in total, you had received 30 patients. Do you follow?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, when we went through this statement on 6284, initially it appeared that there was an additional 5 patients, but you have clarified that aspect.
Yes, Councillor.
So what I was asking you to do, if you can, was maybe to indicate how the patients were being brought. Were they brought 30 at a go? Were they brought in phases? And that is where I was.
Yes, Councillor, they were brought in phases, but it was the 30.
Thank you, ma'am. We can then move on from there. Now, this incident that you describe where patients were left without telling your names, did you manage to eventually identify these 5 patients?
Some of them, yes, but there were some I couldn't identify. Because if I find the ID, then I can identify. But if not, I can't.
Was there ever a time where you had identified all the patients that were at Enka House?
Sorry, Councillor, can you rephrase your question?
Was there ever a time or a period or a day where you were able to have identified all the patients that were now at Enka House?
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you. Now, attached to this statement, there is a list. It is on page 6286. Do you see that list?
Yes, Councillor.
Who compiled this list, ma'am?
Okay, what happened? The admin lady and myself were sitting with the discharge forms accordingly and compile the list.
So it was yourself and the admin?
Yes.
Now, I see that you only were able to identify 29 people on this list, but with reference to the date of the 23rd, when we know there were 30 patients.
Yes,
Am I correct?
Councillor. Yes, Councillor.
Now, were you ever able to identify who this missing number?
You are not going to be audible, Mr. Pitler?
Is apologies, my lady. The network seems tired.
Mm.
Were you ever able to identify, complete this list? Because you had 30 patients that were received on the 23rd of June, but on the list, there are only 29 names. Are you with me?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, were you ever able to identify who was supposed to be number 30 on this list?
No, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, having looked at this document on page 6284, are there any additional amendments that you would want to make? On paragraph 2.
No, Councillor.
This date of the 28th of June, I see we have been referring to the date of the 29 in your other statement.
28. Yes, Councillor.
Yes. What I want to know is this date correct?
On the 28th, an unknown patient, together with 3 other patients, was sent to Mamla. Yes, that date is correct.
Thank you.
If I may, this question, did it relate to the date of the 23rd or the 28th?
23rd.
Okay.
My lady. Yeah, but it, my lady, it relates to the...
Mr. Pichela?
The question that I was asking was with reference to the date of the 28th, not the 23rd.
Yes, that's how I understood.
And that is on paragraph 2. I was saying, in your statement,
we had about 2 dates, the 23rd and the 29th.
Correct, my lady. And now we are hearing a further date of the 28th.
No, that's correct, Councillor. The 28th.
Move on, Mr. Pichela.
As your ladyship pleases. Now, there is one patient in particular by the name of Mr. Christopher Makoba. No, sorry, Charity Ratsotso.
Yes, Councillor.
Yes. Do you know when Charity Ratsotso was received at Enka House?
Councillor, as I said, I can't identify because according to me, it was unknown.
Now, there was testimony by Ms. Daphne Ndlovu, and she indicated to this court that she gave you details of Charity Ratsotso. That should have enabled you to identify him.
No, Councillor, I didn't receive any documentations from Daphne.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just hold it there. Continue.
We will now move on to the other documents. Starting with Annexure EE2, Exhibit EE2.
Are we not
And
done
that is,
with that?
pardon, my lady?
Are we not done with EE2?
My lady, we were correlating EE1.
Okay.
We're on EE1 and
the pace is very slow. Continue.
It's a painstaking process, my lady. Now let's rather finish up then with EE1. Can you go to paragraph 7?
Are we now EE2 or EE1?
Apologies, my lady. I forgot that we had posted paragraph 7 of EE1. That is on page 361.
Yes,
Councillor.
Please read through the paragraph and if there are any amendments that you need to effect.
Yes, Councillor, I'm reading. No, Councillor.
Now, let us look at Mr. Robert Sutole.
Yes, Councillor.
Earlier, I put a question to you that have you ever received patients directly from Life Esidimeni? You indicated no. Can you then clarify the circumstances there?
Yes, Councillor, that was a patient that came from with a bus.
And with the bus on what date? On which date?
On the 29th.
So you didn't go to Life Esidimeni and collect him from there. He came with a bus with those with those two caregivers of yours and members of and Mr. Machale.
Machale, yes, Councillor.
Okay. And that would be the same again with Mr. Kenneth Soga.
Yes, Councillor.
And Joseph Gumede and Charity Ratsotso.
No, Councillor. Charity Ratsotso, according to me, was from Cullinan. Councillor.
And then again, you refer specifically to Mr. Howard Lowe.
Yes, he also came from the bus from Life.
Now let's move on to paragraph 8.
Continue.
Yes, Councillor.
Are there any amendments that you wish to make in respect of the date or the information that is contained in there?
I'm just reading, Councillor. No, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, do you know, do you recall person died at Enka
I can't
House?
hear you clearly.
Can you please repeat the question? I think you were breaking.
The first recorded death at Enka House. Do you recall the date?
As far as I know, that it was Robert Sitole.
And do you recall the date?
The date was the 18th of the 7th. Sorry, Councillor, was it the date that when he passed on?
Yes, the first time that a death was recorded at Enka.
It's the 18th of the 7th, 2016.
18th
of July, sorry, 18th of July, 2016.
So in paragraph 8,
yes,
on
Councillor.
the 13th of October 2016, when Mrs. Nonleba Sinelo came to conduct inspections at Enka and proposed that you rectify beds, windows, doors to be repaired, plumbing and bathroom, air conditioners, appoint security and so on, there had already been one death at Enka, correct?
Yes, yes, Councillor.
And this death had been reported to the department, correct?
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. You indicate a date of the 1st of November.
Yes, Councillor.
What is significant about that date?
Okay, the 1st of November, Mrs. Malaza called me to her office and said we must have a meeting. So I thought it was a meeting in connection with all the queries I had with her, want to discuss. So she said to me, when we came there, it was me and one of her staff members and Natasha. And in that meeting, she said, because of the deaths, I must leave the premises immediately and I must carry on with the payments that I must submit to the department because I've got a contract with the department until the 31st of March. So as it is, I must leave the premises, but all my workers must stay. Everything, I must just leave everything as is. I could have just took my personal stuff. That's it, Councillor.
Now, from that date of the 1st of November, were you ever allowed back into CCRC?
No, Councillor.
So anything that happened beyond that date, you would not know about?
Yes, Councillor.
Now, there is a document that has been identified with the assistance of Advocate Marriott. That document is page 13327. Are you on that page, man?
Yes, Councillor.
Quickly go
Yes,
through
Councillor.
the document. Go through the document paragraph by paragraph. Indicate if there are any amendments that you wish to effect on that document. Maybe to assist us, Mrs. Franks.
Yes,
Just
Councillor.
indicate each paragraph that you have passed so we know that there are no amendments and how far you are.
I'm now at paragraph 15. Seventeen. 20. 22. Councillor?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Are there
Councillor,
any
no
amendments?
No, Councillor.
If
What
you
does
look
that
at
mean?
paragraph,
Are
pardon, my
there no
lady?
corrections to make? Is that what you want? What you mean here?
Yes, my lady.
Continue.
When looking at paragraph 14, ma'am, you describe an incident of the 8th of July.
Paragraph, Councillor, paragraph
14, 1-4.
14. Yes, Councillor.
Yes, can you just indicate to the court the significance of that date? Are you still there, Mrs. Franks?
No. Yes,
Paragraph
Councillor.
14, 1-4. It's very short.
Yes, yes. Yes, on that date, it's right like that. The CEO came and she said that she will help us with the food. That's
So
right.
from that date until the 1st of November, when you were ejected from Anchor, the cooking for the
Yes, Councillor.
patients was handled. Thank you.
Yes, Councillor?
Now, yes, we are. If there are no further amendments that you wish to make, then we are done with this document.
Yes, Councillor.
My lady, I'm mindful of the amount of documents that are here, but unfortunately, we need to perform this exercise in respect of all of them. So we'll try and push as quickly as possible.
Yes, Councillor.
Let's move to 2679.
Two six. Sorry, Councillor, what's the
2679 EE2.
Yes, Councillor.
Looking at that document, are there any amendments that you wish to effect?
Okay, there on the above mentioned, Councillor, the patients came from life is the patients that came from with the bus.
Where do we start, Ms. Franks? We have got number one. There is a date of the 29th of June, followed by paragraph 2, reason for transferal, followed by paragraph 3. Where are we on this page?
My lady, the first paragraph.
Yes.
On the above mentioned date, patients came from life Esidimeni. It's the patients that came in with the bus.
Okay. So you want to amend or what? Or you just want to explain that those are patients that came with the bus?
Yes, my lady.
Then I take it that there are no further amendments.
No, Councillor.
Let's go to 3857 EE3.
3857, Councillor.
Yes, EE3. Are you on that page?
No, I'm waiting.
Just to give you a heads up, we are going to perform this exercise in respect of all those documents. So just when you get to the documents, just go through it and check if there are any amendments you wish to make, and then indicate as such. Do you follow, ma'am?
Sorry, I can't see the page. 3, what's the page number?
857, 3857, EE3.
Yes, I'm at that page now, Councillor.
The same exercise, check for any amendments that you wish to make.
I'm now at paragraph 5. No, Councillor.
Look at paragraph 1.
What about paragraph 1, Mr. Pichela? The witness has already said that there are no amendments. Am I correct, Mrs. Franks?
Yes, I see. My lady, he said on the 29th, Joseph Kumedi was transferred. It was with a bus. Again, not from life.
I don't understand. On the 29th of June, Joseph Kumede was transferred?
From life.
From life,
yes, but it's the patients that came with a bus.
My lady,
yes,
this is
I
in
don't
the
understand,
context.
Mr. Pichela.
My lady, this is in the context of the evidence of this witness to the effect that there were no patients that were ever received directly from Life Esidimeni.
Okay, thank you.
So
Yes.
that reference would then be incorrect,
Okay, that's fine.
as your ladyship pleases.
Just a second then. Yes, continue.
In the absence of any further amendments, we can move to EE 43893.
Sorry, Councillor, what's the number?
3893. EE4.
Yes, Councillor.
Same exercise, look through the documents, indicate whether there's any amendments that you wish to be made. It's in manuscript, so
No, Councillor.
thank you, ma'am. We can then move to the next document. 3911.
3911, Councillor. Yes, Councillor.
The same exercise, ma'am.
Okay, paragraph 2, Councillor.
Yes.
The same thing happened there. It's not Life Esidimeni, but the bus that came in.
Just read the sentence and identify it so that everyone can follow. Before you amend, you correct it.
Yes, my lady. On Wednesday, the 29th of the 6th, 2016, mental health care users came. Mental health users were fetched from Life Esidimeni.
So what is it that has to be amended?
Oh, no, that's right. I just read fast. I thought they said it's only Life Esidimeni, so I thought it's a bus, but it's right.
Just read it properly, please. We don't want to be confused. Read it. On Wednesday, the 29th of June, the mental health care users were fetched at Life Esidimeni Center by 3 care workers from Anchor Center, accompanied by Mr. Mohali from the Gauteng Department of Health. Is it correct?
Yes, my lady.
It's correct.
Yes, my lady. Sorry for that.
So this person
there were patients which were directly fetched from Life Esidimeni.
Yes, my lady.
My lady, maybe just to correct the context. This is basically a repetition of that earlier version where she indicated that 3 of her care workers were called in.
Yes, Councillor.
To accompany officials
Mr.
of the
Mahali.
department to Life Esidimeni.
Yes, Councillor.
And this Mahali, it's actually
Mr. Pichela, you can't talk at the same time. The record is not going to reflect well.
Yeah, the witness must listen, my lady, and allow me to talk.
You must also put proper things to the witness because I'm getting confused now.
My lady, hence I interjected to try and clarify this aspect. It's actually quite straightforward. The witness in an early testimony has referred to a certain Mr. Mahali. And she indicates,
hence, that is the part that I'm correcting to say it's not Mahale, it's actually Mohale, because there is no reference to any Mr. Mohale in the documents. Mr. Mahale in the documents, my lady.
Yes, let me hear then, continue.
Then the indication was, when I put the question with regard to life Esidimeni, she indicated that the only time was on the 29th, and the department asked her to provide care workers who's going to accompany them to life Esidimeni to fetch patients.
Yes.
So this is basically the same testimony again, my lady.
Yes, she has to correct this so that we can follow it.
As your ladyship pleases.
But she's the one who's saying it's correct. She has to, I said, read it so that you can be able to correct it. Let her read it, read the whole paragraph, because I see the second statement is going to assist her now.
Yes, my lady.
Just read the whole paragraph and don't rush so that we can follow your evidence. I'm getting confused and I'm getting tired.
Yes, Councillor.
Yes, what are you saying? Do you want to make any corrections here?
No, Council. No, my lady.
Mr. Pichela, you can come in.
My lady, I was referring to the person being identified as Mr. Mohali here, whether it's the same person that the witness earlier identified as Mr. Mahale or Mohale.
Put it to the witness.
Yes, Councillor, it's the same person.
Thank you, ma'am. Read further and let's get over with this.
No changes, Councillor.
Thank you,
Which
ma'am.
paragraph now?
On paragraph 3, my lady, there are no changes there.
Continue.
We move to page 4228. Exhibit EE6.
There's no changes, Councillor, except that I just said there again on the 29th, Kenneth Soko was transferred from Life Esidimeni. He was also transferred from Life with the bus.
Thank you, ma'am. My lady, we can move on to the next document. 4789. Exhibit EE7.
Councillor, I'm sorry, I've got the same problem there that on paragraph 1, on the above mentioned date, patients came from Life Esidimeni. It's the patients that came from life but with a bus.
Any other amendments?
No, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to 4816. Oh, pardon. No, 4872, sorry.
4872.
That's EE8.
Yes.
Same exercise, ma'am.
Yes, Councillor, I'm busy reading. No, Councillor, no changes.
Thank you, ma'am. Have you read through the entire document?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay, 6045 EE9. Same exercise.
Paragraph, yes, one is the same. That from life, it's from life, but with a bus.
Yes.
Just reading the others. No, Councillor, no changes. Further on.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we're moving now to EE10 6164.
Councillor, paragraph 3.
Yes.
Where it says on the 29th of June, the deceased Vuyo was transferred to Anchor Center from Life. Okay, it was from Life, but he also came in with a bus.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other amendments?
No, Councillor.
Then we move on to 10858 EE11.
Sorry, the page number, Councillor?
10858.
Is it the
10858 EE11.
Yes, Councillor, I've got it. It's the same amendment I would like to make in paragraph 1, transfer from Life, but with a bus.
Any other amendments?
I don't think she has read the statement.
No, I'm still reading, Councillor. No, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. 13331 EE12. 13331.
Yes, Councillor.
EE12.
Paragraph 1 is the same amendment, Councillor.
Yes.
He was transferred from life but with a bus. Just reading further. Councillor. No further amendments, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. We can move to EE313, that is 3860.
Yes, Councillor.
Same exercise.
No amendments, Councillor.
Thank you, ma'am. We're moving now to EE146284.
62, Councillor.
84. 6284.
And reading, Councillor. No, Councillor, no further amendments.
Thank you, ma'am. We are done, my lady, with the amendments that need to be effected to the documents.
Okay.
Ma'am, the question that I have for you.
Yes, Councillor.
When did you first receive payment from the department in respect of the marathon project?
From the department? What do you mean?
Correct, my lady.
Did she ever receive patients from the department?
I saw in one statement there seems to have been an indication of such. The statement that was referred to by Advocate Marriott.
Okay.
Yes,
I think
Councillor.
it's EE15. There was.
Do we have EE15 here?
Details of payment. Yes, my lady. Page 13327.
Yes. Did you deal with the corrections on this page, on this statement? I don't think you ended up with EE14. Are you with me, Mr. Pihlela? He has frozen. The screen is frozen.
Document.
Mr. Pihlela?
Can hear your ladyship. Yes, my lady.
Did you deal with the corrections on this statement that appears exhibit EE15? You haven't done that.
We did, my lady.
Did you start with it?
Yeah, I think it was after the first one. I skipped to it.
Okay.
After we dealt with the first two documents.
I just hope you dealt with it. Okay.
Maybe,
so what
my
is
lady,
the question?
we can then go to it. If the court didn't pick it up, then I would rather err on the side of caution.
Maybe it's maybe you've dealt with it, but I think your colleagues can assist me.
I agree, my lady. Advocate Clela did deal with the statement after the main or the statement that's contained under general statements.
Okay.
He referred to this document.
Thank you then. Continue, Mr. Pihlela.
Yes, Mrs. Franks?
Yes, Councillor.
The question that I put to you was, When did you receive payment? When did you first receive payment from them? Payment, my lady.
I thought you were talking about patients.
No, money.
We received payments from the department in September.
And this is, you have been operating from June, correct? The 23rd of June.
Yes,
or even
Councillor.
before that. Now, kindly indicate to this court, what I understand from the manner in which this project unfolded, initially you were assigned a different place, and then later you were given to CCRC. Is it colorful?
Yes, Councillor.
Yes.
Firstly, I was invited to Kalafong to review the place there. And in Kalafong, when I was there, I used actually of my own savings money to renovate the place. And I store all my furniture there at Kalafong, beds, chairs, tables. I store it there at Kalafong, and the one ward was, we had to renovate the one ward. So that is where I put my money into renovate the ward. After that, the inspectors came and they said we can't use this premises because it's not suitable for the users. They failed the building. So in that respect, that same day, Anna said they will see whether they can find another place for me. So she said there can be place in Cullinan or Sterkfontein. I said Sterkfontein is too far from me, maybe Cullinan. That is when she referred me to Cullinan.
My lady, there's a hand.
Yes, Miss Margaret.
My lady, this evidence the witness is giving at the moment, it's contained in paragraph 4 on page 359. So it's a repetition of evidence.
Mr.
I do not see
Pitlela.
why it needs to be placed on record.
Mr. Pitlela, please. That's why we are not finishing.
No, my lady, I think to be correct, the question that I asked did not elicit only this answer that is being given by the witness.
But you should have
And
stopped
the witness, my lady, I think it's quite difficult to allow a witness to interject and not let her tell a story at this stage, because we are at the end, we are concluding. So this is merely to get a proper indication and context of what transpired in terms of this project. And I think that is pertinent to the issues that are to be determined at the end. If the court is going to find that somebody was culpable or was negligent or whatever, the fact of the matter is those personal circumstances are part of the test for causation, my lady.
Yes, we hear that, but I said when you ask questions, you must be mindful that we have got statements. So if you want to clarify an issue, it must be clearly spelled out. You shouldn't just allow the witness just to repeat the whole whatever it's on record or in the statement, please.
But my lady, I've never heard of an incident where a person would object to a witness while the witness is testifying. I think we are reinventing the wheel in these proceedings. In any event, I will try to limit the witness's testimony in accordance with to avoid evidence that might be on record and which we have not dealt with specifically in order to save time.
Okay.
Mrs. Franks.
Yes, Councillor.
I'm going to be interjecting in your testimony, so please bear with me on that.
Yes, Councillor.
It is not to say that what you are saying is not important.
Yes, Councillor.
Now, Mrs. Franks, My understanding is you operated from that time until September, and there was no payment that was given to you until.
I can't hear you clearly.
Only came in September, correct?
No, Mr. Pichel.
From that time.
Mr. Pichel.
Sorry, Councillor.
I think you
Yes,
broke the witness. We couldn't hear anything that you said.
Apologies, my lady. It's the network.
Yes,
The
it's
weather
5 to
is
4.
helping us. If I may rephrase, my lady. Ma'am.
Yes,
from
Councillor.
the beginning, from that time where you renovated the wards at Kalafong Hospital.
Yes, Councillor.
The first time you received money from the department was in September, correct?
Yes, Councillor.
During that time, what were you operating from your own pocket? Were you having sponsors? What was happening there?
I was operating with from my own money pocket, yes.
And now, with regard to the buying of food for the mental health care users, where was the money coming from?
I provided from my own pocket, Councillor.
With regard to the transportation of mental health care users when they required medical attention and they needed to be taken to clinics for checkups and hospitals and so on, where was the money coming from?
I was driving with my car and out of my own pocket.
Now, what was the impact of this non-payment by the Gauteng Department of Health in the manner in which you were able to provide care to these mental health care users?
Sorry, just rephrase the question, Councillor.
The impact of not being paid, how it affected you in the manner in which you were able to provide care.
Okay, the impact is when the money dries up, then I'm going to have a problem with food for the patients, providing toiletries, cleaning materials. So I think that will be the impact on that.
No, ma'am, I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about practical things that you experienced. I'm not talking about theories of what might happen if money is not paid. I'm talking about practical things that you experienced during the project, the problems that you had.
Okay, the problems that I had mostly was the overcrowded of patients, the clinics and the hospitals. When I trying to take patients to refuel where they said that there's no budget for us. The hospital, there was problems that if I don't have an ID, they can't accept patients. And we have problems with the medication. The nurses didn't want to work for us because they said that they can't work without payments and with no files. And we can't have, because we don't have files, we don't have contact people for the patients.
Yes.
And we had once a problem with the mortuary of Cullinan, that they can't take our patients in because there was no gas.
Yes.
And the NPO was actually, the NPO was not accepted in some stages that we didn't work together there at Cullinan. I remember there was one, can I say it, Councillor?
Please
on
continue.
On the 8th of July, we had a problem when Siabadinga went out. They gave him the letter there was a strike. And that strike was really brought a lot of chaos on the two NGOs. And that time they called the police in, and Siabadinga sent the police back, and we couldn't. It was really chaos that night. And after that, Matilda Malaza, the acting CEO, came to me and she said, I think it was on the 12th when all Siabadinga's workers left. She said, we must work together. The department gave us now the nurses from West Koppies, so I must help them with our caregivers and cleaners so that they can help Siabadinga's patients wash and feed and clean the places.
So your people have to work extra now?
That's right.
Okay, anything else?
Okay, that's, and on it was the 12th, I'm not sure was it the 12th or the 8th, that she said she will provide food for us and for Siabadinga. That is why, because she helped us with the food, because of our caregivers is helping there, and the nurses was split between the two NGOs.
Did you encounter problems with bedding?
Yes, I did, because of the overcrowding.
And how was it resolved?
Okay, as I said in the previous statement, that Anna and Rochelle went and asked for bedding at other hospitals, but when I received payments, the department put an order through for bedding, and then we have to pay it after we receive payments.
Okay. And the patients that you are ultimately given, or that were ultimately discharged to you, was it the patients that you had been promised?
No, counsellor, and I wasn't supposed to get frail care, blind,
Just hold it there.
Yes.
Yes. So you received frail patients while you were not supposed
yes.
to?
No, frail care, blind, and wheelchair patients I wasn't supposed to receive.
Frail?
Wheelchair, bound.
Yes.
And blind patients.
Blind.
Blind. I can't see. Yes, my lady.
Yes. Mr. Pitlela, it's 3 minutes past 4. I don't know how long you want to go.
I've just got 2 more questions and we should be done with the evidence in chief. I wouldn't like to cross over to tomorrow.
Okay.
Ma'am, tell the court the problems you had with regard to providing food for these patients.
Come again?
The problems she had with regard to providing food.
Okay, I did. Providing food, I provide the food out of my own pocket, and I had problems because the funds was running out, counsellor.
Now, did you report these problems to the department?
Yes, and yes, counsellor.
And what happened then?
Okay, what happened? They put an order through to, I can't remember what was the lady that will provide food for us, and then we must pay it when we receive payments.
Did that happen?
Yes, but we receive it, I think it's late July.
Now, did you ever have problems with regard to medication?
Yes, Councillor.
And what were those?
Okay, the first, when we received patients from Cullinan, Rochelle and a doctor from the department came in to identify, and they took it through they wrote out the prescriptions and they got medication from the district pharmacy.
Okay. Is there anything you want to tell the court with regard to the challenges that you experienced?
Okay, the challenges was mostly because we didn't receive payments and of the licensing of our NGO. Our license was still for California, and they said they will correct the license to Cullinan.
Was it corrected?
No, it wasn't corrected.
Yes.
I received problems with the clothing and the shoes for the patients, and the nurses, as I interview nurses, they didn't want to come and work for us because we can't pay them. We asked them to work on a basis of volunteered, yeah, to volunteer first and then we can pay, but they didn't want to do that.
Okay. My lady, I think that concludes the evidence in chief in respect of this witness. Thank you, Mrs. Franks. I've got no further questions.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, my lady.
Thank you, Mrs. Franks. You still have tomorrow where you will be cross-examined by the other counsel who are here. Due to the time constraints, we will have to adjourn these proceedings until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is the 15th of June.